Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Micks Mowers. And today's episode we're going to be having a little look at a little Sovereign lawnmower. It came in from repair probably about 3 months ago, and the fella said it stopped working, or he lent it to a friend and it stopped working. And he said the head gasket is gone. He said he's taken the head gasket off and it's broken. However, he has shown me the gasket and it appears to be the carburetor gasket, not the head gasket. So not really quite sure what's going on. I haven't even tried to start it. There's no petrol in there, nothing like that. So it could just be ran out of petrol. It could be. But I don't know. If this is the first time I'm watching Micks Mowers, hit the subscribe button and whack your bell, set notifications to all. That way you'll be told when I'm on a video or two on my Saturday night weekly live stream, which starts at 6:30 PM at UK time. And without further ado, let's get down and dirty and let's check out this little Sovereign lawnmower with a blown head gasket, carburetor gasket. Okay, this is the little Sovereign, and the gasket that's broken is the one that sits just behind here on the carburetor. However, there's no fuel in it at all, so first thing I want to do is put some fuel in. This is the one that I did the fuel cap plastic weld on, which seems to be holding. The gasket is actually down here. Here's the head gasket, or so we said. That's the gasket that's actually broken, so I can make a new one up, that's not a problem. I'll put that to one side. And it doesn't even start or nothing. I'm nearly out of petrol. I might go and get some out of another mower. But I just want enough just to wet the old whistle on the lawnmower. There should be enough in there for testing. I'm just going to get some more today. So this had a full service from what I remember. New spark plugs in there. So let's just give it a prime, see what happens. Let me give it a torch first. And I want to see if it's actually priming or not. So just notice it's actually got a leak here coming from primer bulb somewhere. The springs come off a carburetor, so that could actually be choking itself. This is a problem you get when people have a bit of a fiddle, so let's clamp that fuel off quickly. So yeah, we've got a bit of a leak going on. It wasn't leaking beforehand, but I do know. Let's have a look, see what's been going on. It shouldn't be leaking out that primer bulb. That'll explain the no fuel situation. Let's have a little look. Yeah, the spring has actually come off the throttle at the back. So let's hook that up to begin with. That's better, that's back on there now. That will now close the flap back up. And now let's disconnect the fuel. And it's still leaking right at the primer bulb. So that tells me we've got a sticky float. The float is probably stuck on this carburetor, which could be dirty fuel. So let's remove the little tiny spring. Let me bring you around so you're a bit closer. That's it. Let's now remove the fuel clamp and the primer hose. That will allow me to tip this carburetor up and remove the throttle. Just about. I think I'm going to do the fuel line first. I think that's a fuel line. Oh, that's that. Let's have a little blow into there. Oh, that works. But is it shutting off? That's the problem. Let's have a look inside this float chamber before we get too involved in it. It does seem to be absolutely weeping out of somewhere. Absolutely throwing out of its primer assembly. Let's have a little look. See what we got. Okay, this O-ring is absolutely deteriorated. And inside here you got all bits of gunk and dirt. So it looks like a bad fuel situation. I'm going to remove this O-ring out, and I've got some more O-rings which will fit these. That's no problem. We can do that. I'm going to remove the jet. It'll be a new carb clean on this one. So remove the pin and remove the float. That's interesting. That float seems to be stuck quite hard in there. Bit of dirt on there too. Yeah, a bit of dirt on there. I don't recall cleaning the carburetor on this one. I don't recall it. I think it came in for that repair and a pull cord from what I remember. So we'll have that main jet out as well. Give the carburetor a bit of a happy birthday, and I'll come back. So I've removed the main jet out of here, and there's a little tiny hole in there, very, very small. So that's not helping matters. Let's grab a set of files. I'll clean that out so that it's got a much better flow on it. Don't think it's that one, it's the next one up, I think. Yeah, next one down, sorry. That one there. Stick him in there. That's it. Give that a good old-fashioned clean up. Just clean the sides of the walls off the main jet. Okay. A lot of crud in here. I'll have to relook at the video I did before on this one. It was only about 2 or 3 months ago. 3 months ago, maybe 4, a push. That's a much bigger hole in there now. If I get the old torch behind it, you'll see it's a much bigger hole in there than what it was. So that's good. That's what we want. Just a bit concerned. I would have checked that carburetor had it been playing up. So I don't think this was an issue initially. This O-ring has deteriorated, which is causing me concern. A lot of dirt under here. A lot of dirt. It's mainly rust, to be fair. So we'll clean this all up and put a new O-ring on. I'm going to give a needle a clean as well, and I'm going to give the carburetor a good clean throughout. I'll take the slow running jet out as well, which is just here, and take this one out here as well. Just wind it in how many turns it needs to be wound out. So it's about 1/4 past, so there's half a turn. There's 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 3.5, 3.25 turns. It has to be wound out from all the way in. So we'll take that one out. Get rid of that, and then the slow running jet is in here. We can take that, that's all the way in, that one, so that can just come out. Take that out. There's a couple of holes in there, need cleaning. That's the carburetor stripped. Just going to give it a good clean compressor with an air compressor, and all the holes, orifices where it needs it, down in here. And give it a clean, reassemble it, and we'll put it back together, see if it's not leaking, and we'll go from there. Okay, what I'm doing just for reference, this is actually the video I did on this one, lawnmower in for repair and carb clean, and I can actually see, turn the volume down a smidge, it's the original O-ring there, which has now perished. It wasn't too bad in the video. Just double checking, I didn't actually take that out. It doesn't look like I did. No, I didn't. It doesn't look too bad there. So I'll put a new O-ring in. I think that's the reason why we've got a bit of flooding issue as well, and because of the needle. That's why, yes, when I did the fuel cap on. See, yeah, okay. That's why I also like to do videos. So I just cross-reference what I've actually done beforehand for my own sanity, make sure I did do a proper job. But that O-ring wasn't as bad as that last time. So obviously it has deteriorated over 4 months. That's been that video. So I'm going to give us a bit of a clean up. I'll come back when I've done so, because this O-ring is completely perished, so I'll be back in 2 ticks. Okay, so this is where we are. I've got a new O-ring for the carburetor, just there. So that'll go on. I've also made a new gasket, head gasket, not. That's going to go on like so. Yeah, there, that fits just about right. So we've got enough there to span the gap between the airbox and the carburetor, so that's all good. So now I'll clean the bowl up as much as I can. I've just been watching that other video I've been doing on it, and the bowl that I cleaned was nigh on spotless, and you can see the muck that's come out of this carburetor. It looks like it's got soil in there, is what it looks like. So I'm not quite sure what's gone on there. The video I did was about 3 months old, so it wouldn't have been much over 3 months on the actual when the mower came in, but it seems like quite a short span of time to have this carburetor back with issues. So it could be dirty fuel they're using. I've got a lot of ideas, really, to be fair. I'm a little bit stumped as to why this little carburetor struggled and got so dirty in such a short space of time. But you know, it is what it is, I suppose. It's come back that it's not working, so he was quite happy, but he just said it's not doing what it should be doing. He lent it to a friend. The last friend he lent something to, he put plain fuel in a strimmer or trimmer or something he had, and seized it up. He brought it back to me. I did a video a little while ago on I think it was a flower beast or something like that, and it come back semi-seized and was no good. So I've got a sneaky feeling it could be the fuel that's being used, but we shall see. So just going to tighten down this this bowl now onto this new O-ring, so it compresses it into the shape that I need it to. Don't go too mad, because you'll strip the threads out. Trust me, I know. That's enough. And that's now squeezed that O-ring right down flat into the position it should be in. So that shouldn't leak. I'm now going to hook up the throttle back onto the machine. I then want to hook up the primer. There's a little tiny wire there. I've got a little tiny spring to put on that come off, which I thought it might have been choking it, but it's not, because it's a priming machine. So that all goes on as it should do. I'm now going to put the fuel pipe on and a little tiny hose clamp to go on with that. So that's all on together. Let me try and wiggle that on. And we all know I hate these clamps. Oh, get on there. It's because my hands are too big. That's all it is. There it goes, that's on. So that's now all in place. We're happy with that. I'm now going to get the airbox, which is here. And this gasket is going to go the flat side down. It's going to go about there and onto there. Let me get this right. Cut the groove out there for it, so that's good. It goes on that way and that way. 2 bolts. They go through. They go through the entire carburetor, all the way back onto the holes, like so. And just before you do it up, just put your crankcase breather onto the airbox, and then with your gun, just slowly take those screws home, just so everything is held into place. Onto the lowest setting. You've got a little 10mm one to put in here as well, which is generally the fiddliest out of all of them, so put that 10mm in as well. That can go all the way in. That's all the way in. Good. Up to the next setting and give that a little bit of a tweak just to take them home. Okay, so now with all that now in place, I'm going to now release the fuel, and hopefully we get no leak coming out of here. That's the idea. I'll double check we have actually got fuel in the tank, because I didn't have a lot in there in the first place. Let's have a little look. Ooh. Yeah, fuel in the tank. And no leaks. So it looks like we stopped the leak problem. So now we'll take this machine outside and we'll give it a fire up once I put the filter box back on. And we'll go from there. First thing I'll do first, though, of course, is just to, with the torch, have a look at the back of the tube, which is right at the back here. I can see it now. Got a couple of primes. Yeah, that's priming. Okay. Right, put it all together, take it outside, give it a run and see what happens. Hopefully we might have cured it, but it looks like a case of bad fuel by the looks of it. That carburetor was absolutely filthy. So I'll be taking photographs of this internals to show the bloke, but it looks like soil. That's what it looks like. So I'll always take a photograph. I've got it on video anyway. You saw me clean it up and not put nothing in there, so I'm not into fiddling people about, but that to me, I don't look right, do it? I don't look right at all. It smells okay, but it has mud or something. Not quite sure what's going on. Right, put it together, take it outside, no leaks, and we'll go from there. Right, here's your lawnmower, no leaks. Hoping it'll now run as it did last time. No hunting, that's what I'm after. But we shall wait and see. As you can see, Nana's in the background, look. She's over there, sunning herself. She ain't doing nothing. So, let's have a quick prime, see what happens. That's another one done, and we'll give your bloke a quick ring and see what you like to say about it. So that's that little lawnmower now all up and running as it should do. Just a bit curious, these sort of things sort of rack my old brain a bit. You know, I did a carburetor clean on that, I know I did, but thinking back, it came in for a carburetor clean repair. It wasn't a service repair, so just actually had a carburetor clean and a fuel cap done. That's not to say he's running bad fuel or anything like that at all, but there's certainly evidence of that carburetor was just so green inside and so manky. Something's not quite right there, and that O-ring wasn't that deteriorated when I last had it open, and that you can now see it start to break down. So I'm not quite sure what's happened there. I don't use carburetor cleaner, so it can't be that did it. I've got no idea. But anyway, the carburetor net is now all cleaned back up, and with a gasket back on it again now, it's now running as it should do, and that go back to the customer hopefully today or tomorrow. Incidentally, I had a little message come through on my Instagram, which you can find at Micks Mowers, and a young lad called Charlie has said to me that it's his mum and dad's wedding anniversary on the 25th of August, and that is Chris and Emma. Chris Hale is a regular viewer on my channel. So here's a little photograph that I've been supplied with of the lovely Chris and Emma. So many happy returns on your wedding anniversary on the 25th. Hopefully this video does get to you in time. It all depends when I release it, but I will release it either on the date or just before if possible. So I'll leave that picture up just for a little while because Chris thought it'd be quite, Charlie thought it'd be quite funny if you just see that photograph of you two in love and cuddling each other, all that sort of good stuff. So happy anniversary, many happy returns to the day, and may have many, many more. I look forward to seeing the next episode of Micks Mowers very, very soon. But until then, people, don't forget, more importantly, take it easy.